I can't hear it.
That's amazing. That's actually amazing that you can't hear it. It's like vibrating my walls. All right, let's share this link around.
Oh, I heard that.
Oh yeah, that's Daniel celebrating at the rugby league.
Oh, I mean, I could guess.
All right, I'm gonna share the link around. People are gonna be like, "What the fuck is happening?" So yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll definitely do an edited version, maybe, and put it on the other channel.
Yeah, that's. I think that you could easily. Yeah, so if you're watching this back on live stream, this wasn't included in the video, so you're lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, impromptu stream, because Connor didn't realize that Money in the Bank was in 6 hours. six to 8 hours from now.
All right, I put on Twitter, me and Callum are doing a wrestling thing.
Fucking nerds.
Yeah. All right, so I'll kind of preempt of this sort of the details of it. So firstly, this was supposed to be on the new channel. We have a new channel called GOA Wrestling, which is like a sister channel to this. And the reason why is because I didn't want to clog up the main channel with more stuff, and I think it would actually be fine. It would be a good idea for us to put all wrestling content on a whole new channel and catalog it all there. I think that'd be a good idea. But because it's a new channel, I just put in verification, therefore I can't live stream on it for another 24 hours, and the pay-per-view for Money in the Bank 2023 is in 6 hours, so it would be absolutely pointless to do a predictions video after the pay-per-view's already come out.
Yeah, that'd be a bit weird.
Yes. So what's going to happen is we're going to live stream this on this channel, and then later on I'll put an edited version on the new channel, and then we might do a review of the pay-per-view on the new channel, which will follow up on whatever predictions we do here. But I guess in some ways this stream is kind of like an advertisement in a way for the GOA wrestling channel, which
if you want to quickly do like an actual intro for the new channel when you edit it down and just be like, hey, welcome to the new channel, this is the wrestling channel for the nerds.
Yeah, well, you're already starting it. That you basically just started the intro right there.
I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, but yes, if anyone who doesn't know about our primary channel, Genesis of Androzani, I have been doing for the last 5 years, and I've done a whole bunch of things like Doctor Who, Game of Thrones, Marvel, Pink Floyd, X-Men, Spider-Man, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
But those ones are unlisted because they're shit. Because those are some stocky reviews. Those were 4 years ago. Bloody hell.
And throughout the Genesis of Androzani channel, we have made a few references to wrestling here and there. Probably one of my favorite ones was in the Colony in Space review I did with Adam. We referred to Hulk Hogan and Brutus.
You know what's so funny about that? That was when I first learned that you two were like into wrestling. Because I was a fan at the time watching those videos. And when I listened to that for the first time, I was like, oh my god, they're just like me.
Yes, you absolute mark. Anyway, so so I'm a long-time fan. I got exposed to it. I went to, so you know how you guys have things called Comic-Cons, right? Well, the New Zealand equivalent of that is called Armageddon Expo. And I went to an Armageddon Expo in, I think it was either 2006 or 2007, something like that. And I saw it live. I saw Impact Pro Wrestling live. And I was like, what is this? And immediately my friend's dad explained to me, it's like And I was like, okay, so I was exposed to kayfabe from literally day one. I knew about kayfabe from day one. But I remember that, and then my friend Luke, who has appeared on this channel before, he was on the Kerblam review actually, and I think he may have been on one other thing, but I can't remember. He had SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 on his PS2, and that's when I really, really understood. Oh, so that's what this is. And then a couple of years after that, my dad got what's called MySky, which is kind of like, it's back in like the late 2000s when you could record stuff that was on, well, Americans would call it cable television or satellite television. I don't know what you call it in the UK, but you have Sky in the UK, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Aussie they call it Foxtel. But they got, in 2009, my dad got what's called MySky, which is like Sky, but where you can record and watch it. I guess in America you call it DVR. And that's when I watched it every week from like September 2009 up till I think it was, oh god, it's got to be like when Gender won the belt in 2017. That's when I broke. Oh, that's when I shattered.
That's when I was like proper watching at the time.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And then a little thing called All Elite Wrestling happened. And a little man called Phillip Brooks appeared on an episode of Rampage in 2021, and that's what hooked me back in. And I was into it fully for about a year, and then Mr. Phil had a little tantrum and pushed me. He pushed me. Yeah, he pushed me away, relatively speaking, for another 9 months or so, and then Mr. Phil came back again recently to throw another tantrum. So, and here we are. So I, for the record, I lived through, like, watching the show live as it happens. I watched the show as he retired Jeff Hardy out of WWE in 2009. And then he did the Strategy Society, and then I watched the pipe bomb live when it happened. Like, that was fucking... Oh, and also, not only was it, like, gobsmacking, but I was 13 years old when that happened. As a 13-year-old, that was crazy to witness. And, yeah, so Pepsi Phil, as Oobly Jubilee said in the comments, has had a big impact on my time, I guess you could say. Because I only lasted 3 years after he quit. It took me 3 years to finally go, fuck this, I'm out.
You know what's so funny? Like, for me personally, I started in 2014, but in October, September time.
So you started when he did the infamous podcast is when you started.
Yeah, it was like just before, and I didn't realize he did that until like probably like a year or so later or something. Because how I got into wrestling was because I knew about wrestling, kind of. I knew what WWE was. But I only properly started getting into it after I watched a Sky made, or maybe it was made by WWE, but it was just put on Sky, of a documentary on the European Championship, of all things.
What?
I remember specifically, it was during the time where either Shawn Michaels or Triple H were holding it, and then they did the infamous like fake pin where they switched titles because Sergeant Slaughter wanted them to face each other in a match for it.
Right.
I don't know if anybody. I feel like that was the thing, and I remember that it was like in the 90s or something.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know they were European champion. Yeah, I have vague memories of watching a documentary on that because Renee Young and oh god, what's his name? He passed away. He did the interviews in the 80s.
Oh, Mean Gene Okerlund.
Mean Gene, there you go. Yeah, I remember they were the presenters for that documentary. If anybody remembers what that documentary was, let me know, man. But yeah, I then watched from late 2014, and pretty much still have, other than like a year during the pandemic. Till now.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, those shows were rough. Those shows were
rough years. Those were some really rough years, and I wasn't to know really. I was, I was watching Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell, which arguably actually was a pretty decent program, to be fair, at the time.
I just got a question though. Were you just like really confused when all these crowds were chanting CM Punk and you were like, who the fuck is this?
I don't remember any CM Punk chants at the time because I wasn't watching them live until like 2015, like middle of 2015. So I don't remember any like CM Punk chants until probably like 2016, maybe, I think.
Right. Because if you weren't watching them live, they're probably edited.
Probably, and I wasn't watching the whole shows anyway. I was looking at stuff.
I see.
Like the main event of the one thing I do remember, like my biggest in terms of like WWE Raw memory was the main event of Raw before Hell in a Cell 2014, where I remember the cage coming down and Seth Rollins like attacked Randy Orton and stood on top of the Hell in a Cell cage to end the show. I remember that. That's probably like my first proper Raw memory.
Yeah,
is what I remember. And then since then, I've been watching since then on and off.
See, I also have my other story is what I've watched outside of that. What we've already described. The first thing is when the WWE Network came to New Zealand in summer of it'd be winter for us, but like August 2014. You know, when they changed the logo, it was around then. Over the next 2 years after that, I watched every NWA, WCW, and WWF pay-per-view from Starrcade 83 up to King of the Ring 1994. So I watched a lot of old stuff. I also have been exposed to stuff from like Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression as well. And I think that I remember watching Wrestle Kingdom 9, 10, and 11 when they aired. So that would have been 15, 16, and 17. Yeah, I remember seeing those as well.
I think I watched 2017 in bits and parts of Wrestle Kingdom because that was kind of when New Japan was at its highest in terms of the modern era.
2017 was Okada Omega 1, and that was just.
I remember that as it was like when that happened. I remember. I didn't watch the match, but I remember the time period around.
I watched it live when it happened, and I was like, "What the fuck." I was like, what am I watching?
The trick to make people think that you're hitting them really hard is to actually hit each other really hard.
Yes. Anyway, so that's a little introduction to. Oh yes, TNA. I forgot about TNA. Fucking TNA. And so 2012, I watched TNA.
Forgets about TNA.
In 2012. I watched TNA for like 6 months, and this was when they were doing Joker Sting.
Oh god.
And like this was when Hogan was still there.
Fucking hell.
And I remember it was when Bobby Roode was the champ and he had long hair. Yeah, that was my exposure to TNA. Yep. And also probably the biggest influence on me for wrestling is the video games. Like pretty much like the SmackDown versus Raw ones, and then like WWE 12, 13, then like 2K14. I think once it got to 2K15, I was like, oh no.
And again, that's when I started playing WWE video games.
Yeah.
And it's gotten better since then, kind of.
Yeah, well, I just... once they handed it over properly to 2K, I was just like, oh, this is just too different. Like it's
when you like yeeted out in 2020.
Yeah.
What a time that was.
But yeah, and also I mean, there was a period of time where he was off YouTube because of a controversial thing he did in his personal life, but I've always been a huge fan of Adam Blompier's content since day one. I remember finding him literally the first ever video he put on What Culture in 2015. I remember seeing it like the week it aired, and I was like, this guy's different.
Yeah, same. I was, and that I felt because that was the exact time when I started watching. So when,
Yeah.
or when What Culture
Yeah.
and Blompier, that was when they started to really shine
Yeah.
on the YouTube
And
space.
I would
And that's when
say,
What Culture Pro Wrestling was made, and that was the only two shows in wrestling I've ever been to live. Were the two London What Culture Pro Wrestling shows, where I actually saw Blompier in the second one at least.
yes, I went to WWE Live in 2016. I got to see John Cena versus AJ Styles. I got to see Reigns versus Rollins. I got to see Chris Jericho cut a promo on my city. He said that Auckland was the anus of New Zealand. Yep. And I got to see Sheamus slap his ass at us.
That sounds fun.
Oh, and yeah. I think, yeah, I remember we all said the highlight of the show was Balor vs. Jericho, 100%.
That would be a fun match in 2016.
16, yeah. Yeah, like the Cena, Styles, Reigns, Rollins, and Sasha, Charlotte, like, they were all, it was very obvious that this was just the match that they've been doing at every show, and it was just so, I was like, okay, I've seen this before. Like, I've seen everything they do in this match before. It was very safe. But Balor Jericho was great. That was the highlight. Because it had a promo before the match as well. And it was, yeah, that was great. But, funnily enough, you are going to a live show later this year, which is very exciting. You're going to Wembley Stadium for AEW All In.
I am.
That's going to be fucking crazy.
Got my £200 worth of ticket. It's expensive, but oh well. I want to go, and I'm going, and it's gonna be really fucking fun.
Yeah,
brilliant. I'm gonna get to see Punk live.
Yep.
For the first time ever. Sting.
Yep. If
Kenny Omega probably. I'm actually pretty fucking excited.
Depending on how bad the arm injury is, you might get to see Bryan Danielson as well.
It's a stretch, but it's a month and a half away. It's 8 weeks away, so
it's possible.
Not possible.
He might be able to wear a cast.
Maybe. Hopefully, if the injury isn't as bad as they think it is.
Anyway, I mean, Cowboy Bob Orton wore a cast for many matches, but that was in the 80s when they just work broken all the time. But yes, no, I have a very extensive knowledge of a lot, because around, like, when I was a fan, I was so obsessed with it that I did, like, insane amounts of research, and I'm like that with everything. As anyone has known, if anyone has seen the content I've done on the main channel, and you look at anything that's one of my interests, Doctor Who, Game of Thrones, Pink Floyd, like anything like that, I know a lot about it, because I've done an extensive amount of research, and wrestling is no different. I know a lot about wrestling. I've seen a lot of matches. I've seen a lot of great matches. I've seen a lot of garbage matches. Yeah, I do have a few blind spots, as you do. I mean, I think out of all the interests I have, it is the thing that has the highest volume of content, because it's literally, it's multiple times a week, every year for the past, like, well, I guess it's been on television since like the 50s, but it's been competed since like the 1910s or something ridiculous like that, before World War One, and it's never stopped, and it's never going to stop. The carnies never ever stop. The carnies will make money until the earth burns. Anyway, so that's the introduction out the way. Now you know something about us. Oh yeah, my name's Connor. This is Callum, by the way, if anyone didn't know.
Hi.
Right. We are going to start this channel off with a very easy video to do, and then eventually we'll introduce some more, like, effort-based stuff eventually. But I thought doing a predictions video for Money in the Bank 2023 would be a nice sort of tester to see how we can go with content on this channel. Now, I don't know if there's been any show matches announced because I can't see them on Wikipedia.
Not
So
that I'm aware of or anything that's been announced. I think
Yep.
all these 7 matches have been announced, and that's it. I think.
Yep. There's no.
Unless they announce something the next few hours. But
There's.
that's not on us. That's on WWE being like they are.
Yeah. Well, the Fed. Yeah, I mean, look, you're gonna have a pay-per-view with no AJ Styles on it. That's a really strange choice, but whatever.
That's the shame.
Come on, do a fucking. Oh, they just. Okay, I know we'll probably get into it in lots of videos, but I have so many fucking bones to pick with this company. I have so many bones to pick, and I have to try and not.
To be fair, everyone does. To be fair, but I know the one specifically you're very, very mad at.
Oh, there's lots of things, but.
Oh yeah.
Just fucking. Oh, just let wrestlers do their thing. Do what they're good at. Utilize them to their strengths, you idiots.
Welcome to the channel, everyone. It's going to be a lot of this.
Like, surely, like, let's say I'm the booker. Surely there is space on this card to have, I don't know, AJ Styles and Karrion Kross in an ultimate submission match. Why wouldn't someone want to see that? And
because he's not over, unfortunately.
I know he's not over, but you know why he's not over? You know why? Because he's booked like trash. Let's put him out there for
But he shoots the fireballs into people's face.
Let's put him out there for 3 minutes and have him do.
Hey, that fucking the way they booked that feud with Drew was so fucking garbage. It was so dumb. They booked him like shit after such a decent start. After the teasers during the Reigns feud between him and Drew, and then the Cross feud, and it wasn't good.
This guy's mastered like
both of them are like really good.
This guy has an insanely dedicated martial arts background. If you've seen his Instagram, the way he's able to change his body composition is ridiculous. He has insane amounts of charisma. He has one of the best entrances ever. His promos are incredible when you actually let him write the dialogue. Like, if you watch any of his stuff on YouTube, he comes across like an actual like horror film psychopath. And once they actually give him the freedom to do grounded, submission-based, catch wrestling, he can put on a really good show. There's a match he did in Bloodsport with Jon Moxley that's great, but they won't do that because it's not the WWE style. He's a big guy. He's got to stand there and he's got to do big moves. And he's got to do his like what do they call it, like the 5 tools of the trade or something. It's so just it's frustrating. Anyway, we're not getting that match, so we'll talk about the ones that we are getting. How about that?
Let's do that.
Right. So we will start the predictions with what I think is probably the most predictable match, and that is the Intercontinental Championship match. One Mr. Gunther versus Matt Riddle. I think this is pretty obvious. I think Gunther's gonna win. Hot take.
Oh, he wins easy. He wins. Here's the thing, right? This is probably gonna be a very fun match. This is like the London crowd, because both of these guys were pretty big on the independent scene about 4 years ago. I remember watching Matt Riddle in WCPW against Cody Rhodes in a hardcore match, and I remember a spot where he went through the table, both of them, and it was a really fun match. Like, Matt Riddle was really good. That was the first time I actually knew about Matt Riddle, and it was a really fun match. And obviously, Gunther is Gunther. This will probably be a really fun match, but it's so clear that Gunther is going to win because he's going to break the record. He's got he's got like until September until he.
Unlike Santino Marella, his honko meter is actually legitimate. Yeah, so what's good?
I'm predicting Gunther to win this match.
Yeah. So unlike what is it? Matt Riddle is going to try and chop Gunther's beef schnitzel, and he's going to smoke too much weed and just fall over, and Gunther will sit on him. That's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's honestly probably going to be a really fun match because it's going to be a bit like the Mustafa Ali match. Night of Champions, which was honestly a really underrated match on that card.
Now, see, this is the opposite of what I was talking about before. Gunther is someone who they actually let do his style, and he does it so well.
Since Trips has taken over the reins of creative, yeah.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, he was booked by Vince McMahon for a very short time. Majority of his run as Volta in NXT UK, he was like this, if not even more violent. Because he was bigger, he was thick, he was like a big baby.
Remember those first... Oh, gosh, sorry, very yawny. Do you remember those first couple months before Trips took over, where they had those backstage segments where Gunther would constantly like chop Luford Kaiser backstage? They haven't done that in months, thank God, because those were shit. Those were really, really shit segments.
Yep. It's interesting though because
now
Gunther.
They've actually let him be who
when I think about Gunther and I think about Volta, they're almost like two. They are similar, and they're the same person, but they feel like two different wrestlers.
Oh yeah, they do in a sense because when Volta was at his peak, he was a lot larger. He was a lot, not stiff because the Gunther character very much is still the same. But there's something is different. He feels a lot more athletic than he was, because obviously he's in a really good shape at the moment.
Well, the way I would describe it is like when he was Volta, he was like a bear. It was like it was like a bear, whereas now he's more like he's more like a lion.
Like a tank.
He's more like a lion now. Like he's a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't hit quite as hard as he used to. Like the slaps aren't as loud, and he doesn't have the thick chest like he used to. But what he does have is he has way more like endurance, and also he strikes a more mature kind of charisma now that his face is way more like. He doesn't have that like thick neck anymore. Like he looks more like an Adonis now, and like a sportsman, and it has a different hit to it.
Mm-hmm. I think Gunther has been what is the most consistent booked wrestler in the Trips era. I would say. I don't think there's anything really wrong with him at all in these in the last year, really. Because it's been a year since nearly Clash of the Castle, where he had that amazing match with Sheamus, and since then, that sort of time period till now, he's been the most well-booked wrestler, I think, on the main roster.
Well, the thing is about Gunther, the reason why he's so consistent and has always been, is because to get Gunther right is extremely simple. It doesn't take a lot of complexity to understand how to book Gunther. The only thing you can do to fuck up Gunther is overthink it.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just be extremely disciplined and allow him to do his thing, and you have great wrestling. And he's going to chop the shit out of Matt Riddle, basically.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun, but a predictable one.
I also think there's also a potential for some fun sports entertainment, because Matt Riddle's quite a fun character. You know, he likes to play around a bit, and Gunther's very straight-faced and serious.
Yeah. I've not really cared about Matt Riddle since Clash of the Castle, to be completely honest.
Yeah, well, it should be fun.
Should be fun still.
Right. The next match is one where, like, I have the least, because I'm not watching full WWE shows every week. I know this is probably going to park me in a certain camp with some people, but I find WWE shows to watch. I mean, the pay-per-views are different, but in terms of the weekly stuff, I find watching the shows in full really difficult. Whereas I find the AEW product way more palatable as a weekly product. They both have their strengths and their weaknesses, but just specifically speaking about which one can I watch from start to finish as a weekly show, I significantly prefer the AEW weekly shows, Whereas with WWE, I tend to just be very selective. I chop it up into the highlights that I want to see. I don't know much about the women's tag division because honestly, it's kind of pointless. It doesn't have to be, but it has been
booked. To be completely honest, that's how it's been booked for a year.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that has been consistently really, really shit is the women's tag division.
Yeah, well, to be fair, in NXT it's been okay, but on the main roster it's been garbage.
Hey, but that's dead now. Unified belts. That's
I know.
Now.
Yeah.
Now we have Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler as your tag champions. And
yeah, like it's crazy to think that like Gigi Dolan and JC Jane were far more successful as tag champs than Sasha and Bayley were. And that's legitimately actually happened because of the booking.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so we have Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Given that two of those names are star power from the UFC and are the champs, and are up against Liv, who's basically been dead for about a year or close to it, and Raquel's character is I have a big back, I'm going to say Ronda and Shayna retain, because I don't see any reason to change the belts, to be honest.
Yeah, I've put down in my notes, I've predicted that the MMA people win.
Yeah. Like, Liv, I mean, to be fair, anything could happen. Remember what they did when everyone thought Damage Control was going to win, and then it was Raquel and Aaliyah.
Damage Control. Yeah, when everyone thought Damage Control was going to win, when they should have, and they didn't for some reason. Aaliyah won with Raquel Rodriguez to win the tag titles, and it was the most pointless fucking reign of the year.
How many fucking tag teams has Raquel been in at this point? She's been so many.
Like 4. In the last year, she's been in 4, I think.
Well, she was in tag teams
was her
in
original partner.
She was in tag.
Wasn't Aaliyah her original partner? I forget.
Well, she had a tag. She had tag teams in NXT as well. After she lost the belt to Mandy, which is ironic because she was against Dakota Kai in the damage control match.
And that didn't play into the match at all, which is a shame.
No.
Yeah. This one also is, I think, a very easy prediction. I think Ronda and Shayna win easily.
Yeah. No, they
keep trying to push Rodriguez with her massive back, I guess, and she's just not.
Well, okay. I mean, look, let me put it this way: Raquel never had a massively developed character, but at least in NXT Black and Gold, when she was the women's champ, it was more than I have a big back. It was at least they played somewhat into the fact that she represents a group of people who are very passionate. That was something, and she had a purpose and a drive, and she's like, I want to retain this championship because every night I go out there and I think about my family back in my country. Like, that was something more than I have a big back.
I have back. Look,
but that was
it's really big.
Yeah, but let's not forget.
It's really big, guys.
But let's not forget that was a different person. That was Raquel Gonzalez, not Raquel Rodriguez.
That was
yeah.
Completely different person. Other person retired.
Yeah, I also loved. I remember what was it, the NXT Takeover in Your House 2021 press conference they did before the pay-per-view. She was trying to cut a sort of an interview style promo about her title match coming up, and while she was speaking about it, they did a great bit of kayfabe because everyone in the whole room was just really awkwardly intense because Karrion Kross was there. Because at that time, he was actually booked like a fucking world beater. And because he was sitting there intensely in the room, she was like trying to cut a promo, but she's also like, holy shit, I'm sitting next to this man. He looks like he could murder me. That's the attention to detail that Black and Gold NXT did.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure we'll talk about NXT Black and Gold at some point on this channel. Because it's pretty damn good.
Point, yes, it's a very fun era of wrestling.
Anyway,
but yeah, the MMA folks win easily.
Yes. Right, now let's move on to the match that has the best story going on behind it. And that is That is the Bloodline versus the Usos.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of been back on track now for about a month. The post-Mania stuff, since Roman beat Cody when he shouldn't have, it was a bit rocky. But once Roman came back after a month away, it's been good again.
Well,
the story is really good.
I think that's probably because anytime Roman isn't there, it's filler.
Yeah.
But when he is there, it's some of the best stuff ever.
Yeah, because it's really good. Because the Usos literally just had another match with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the tag titles weeks after Mania, and we're just wasting time waiting for Roman to come back, and then he comes back, and oh my god, we're actually doing characters again, and it's really good. Yep. And the turn at Night of Champions was really, really good. I was in a crowd at a pub, watch party of the pay-per-view, and we lost our shit. I lost my voice because of that, because it was such a good fucking moment.
Yeah, and then when recently on SmackDown, when Jay turned on Roman, it was amazing.
Oh, that was such a good...
Wow!
Legitimately was like...
And so am I!
Yeah, it was really good. It was what a moment.
Yeah.
It was such a good moment in this story. And I'm really looking forward to this match a lot. I'm looking forward to the drama. I'm looking forward to the action. I'm looking forward to the conflicts. I'm looking forward to everything about it.
Yeah.
And I'm going on a limb here, and I think the Usos win and they pin Roman Reigns for the first time in over 3 years.
Ooh, okay.
I think Jay is going to pin Roman, and that's where we get our SummerSlam match.
So
I think it's going to be Jay versus Roman.
So next. So Big Baron Corbin is no longer going to have the dog food victory as the last Roman loss. TLC 2019.
This feels like the time to do it, to pin him in a match where it's not for the title.
Yeah,
it's a tag match. And it leads to Jay versus Roman at SummerSlam. I think this is now the time to do it. To pin Roman.
I have also gone with the Usos. But I think they're going to pin Solo Sikoa.
It's very still possible that happens.
Yeah. If let's say we pick the same options for every match, I think this will be our tiebreaker. Is this specific scenario?
Yes. Who was pinned? Yeah.
Yeah. I think Solo Sikoa is going to be pinned or submitted. I think it's just pinned because the Usos don't really do a submission.
The reason why I think they are going to pin Roman is because they are building up Solo, and
I will say though, if there is a way to pin Roman Reigns in this match, it is after Solo gives him a Samoan spike.
They have been doing Solo going solo.
That would be fucking justice if Roman lost to a Samoan spike. That would be incredible.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to this match. I think the Usos do win. I think they're going to win, and I think Jay's going to pin Roman, and that's the SummerSlam match. Yeah. Because honestly, you have to do it again. It feels too good not to do a match harking back to the very beginning of this 3-year-long story of the Bloodline. It feels the perfect time to do it. Whether you have Jay win or not, I don't know. That's for next month and how they build up the story to SummerSlam. But this feels like the right time to have Roman be pinned by someone, and it should be Jay.
Man, it sucks that some of the long lost members of that family, like Umaga, Rosie, and Yokozuna, couldn't live to see this storyline of the Bloodline. Because they all passed away before 2020.
Yeah, real shame, because this is like such a brilliant story that's been built for 3 years. That's had its highs and it's had its lows, but in terms of like the overall picture, it's such a really well told story.
Oh, yeah.
A really well told sports entertainment
honestly
story, and
it's crazy because for me, I mean, there were some admittedly good moments, but from the moment the Shield split up all the way up until COVID, Roman Reigns was one of the worst things about WWE.
Absolutely. He was one of the worst characters in the company.
Yeah, and then ever since he came back at SummerSlam 2020 up until now, he's been one of the best things about the company.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, just look at his promo from last night on SmackDown. He is like, this is the embodiment of what his potential was back then.
Yep.
Like, this is what we all could have seen.
Yep.
They just refused to book him in a way that actually made him either a badass babyface or finally eat the bullet and turn him heel and turn him into a new character. And this was what we all wanted. We wanted him to be good. We wanted him to be over and a character. And he finally is, after 3 years. Probably gone a bit too long with the title, but it's still like, what a story it's been. And it should come to an end soon, but what a story.
Yeah. Also, funny little thing. My manager from KFC, she does a lot of these funny facial expressions that remind me a lot of Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Like it's so uncanny. It's so uncanny. Some of the
awesome. Yeah.
You know that meme of when Brock Lesnar came out and he did that face to the camera. Yeah. She does that face to me a lot at work. It's so funny.
Roman Reigns, Tribal Chief Roman Reigns is weirdly very memeable.
Yeah.
Because he's such a good actor. Because it's so dramatized. It's so good for memes and reactions and shit like that.
Well, no, but here's the difference, right? Because when they tried to do comedy with Big Dog Roman, it was absolutely unbearable. Like, it was the most cringy, like, you full of tater tots. Like, it's just the most forced fucking.
Suck-up seller, suffering succotash, son.
Oh God!
I remember that. I remember seeing that for the first time and thinking, oh God. But look at it now.
Like, all that was really forced, but now the reason why this works is I just feel like this is just Joe Anoa'i's real sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just him reacting the way that he would with his own personal, this is exactly who I am. And that's what makes it feel so real, because it is. Because he really is that guy. I mean, he's not a gaslighter in real life. He's not like a massive prick, but he does have that swagger about him. When you see him in interviews, he's got that swagger about him, and that's what makes the Tribal Chief so irresistible.
Yeah.
Like
this is also going to be a really fun match too, by the way. Really fun.
Like, if anyone has seen the interview he did on Logan Paul's podcast, he made all those 3 of those guys he was talking to are all like real famous online. He made all of them look like nerds. Like, he made all of them look completely out of his league. Roman Reigns, Joe Anoa'i in real life in interviews is a fucking superstar. Like, he is the embodiment of what you want. It's just the booking for many years was absolutely, completely sabotaging him. And they wasted years, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars down the drain, making terrible television out of him.
Yeah.
And this
is gonna be real.
I'm still here because you can't do your job.
Skull promo, kid. If you're on the beat dog, you're gonna have to learn how to do it.
Shut up, John.
God, his promo in that was really shit.
It's funny though, because and that promo came at like the tail end of that 3-year period. 2015, 2016, 2017. Yeah. And that was like Cena's Tribal Chief years of his career.
in a sense, yeah.
It was when he won the US title at WrestleMania 31, or maybe a bit before that actually, when he was in that triple threat with Lesnar and Rollins. He just suddenly was like,
Royal Rumble, yeah.
it just suddenly something clicked in his head. He's just like, huh, they're going with Roman Reigns. That means I can be whatever I want now. And then he was.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it took Reigns becoming the guy for Cena to finally click, and it took COVID for Roman to finally click.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we both agree that the Usos are probably going to win. Right. Now we have the new World Heavyweight Championship. This time it's the big gold belt, but they slapped a fucking nasty logo on it. It's a shame because the NWA big gold belt, the one that Ric Flair and Sting wore, is one of my favorite titles ever.
Yeah,
it's absolutely gorgeous. It still looked pretty good, like in like the 2000s up to 2013 with that one too. But it doesn't have the same I think it was kind of it's like a remade version of it. Like it still looks good, but it doesn't have that absolutely spectacular sparkle that the 80s one had. The one whenever you watch like an NWA pay-per-view from the late 80s when Ric Flair came to the ring with that big gold belt, it like almost blinded the camera. It was so massive and gold and sparkly, and it was just gorgeous. So now Triple H has brought back a new version, but they've slapped the fucking WWE Network logo on it. And we are getting Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor, which is a rematch from SummerSlam 2016 when they did it for the big ugly Universal title when it was red.
The jam belt.
Yeah.
Jam belt.
I used to refer to it as something else, which I won't say, which was anyway. I've got Seth Rollins. I don't think Finn Balor's winning this. I think the only there is one scenario where I could see Finn Balor winning, and that is if Damian Priest wins the briefcase. I think that story would be really interesting, because then you could have like a little thing of Balor going, oh yeah, and my boy Damian Priest is going to cash in on Roman Reigns, and Priest is like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that would be really that actually would be really fun. For the Judgment Day, that would be really fun stuff.
I mean, if you want to make
the angle they went with.
If you want to make the Judgment Day the centerpiece of Raw, that's how you do it.
Yeah, them and Cody have really been, and Seth has been as the champion and has been for a couple months, but it's Cody and Judgment Day that they feel like stars in a sense. Cody always does because he's Cody Rhodes and he's really over. But the Judgment Day have been for the last year now, ever since they've had Dom be a part of the group. They are like fun dorks. That's what they are. And obviously with everything with Rhea Ripley and Dom, they're fantastic. They're brilliant fun, that is. I love them together. Priest has been great as like the wrestler against the group.
He is like, it's weird because Damian Priest is older than Cody Rhodes, believe it or not. That's a fucking weird stat.
He's in his 40s. He's like 40 plus.
Yeah.
He's old, but he's so fresh.
Damian Priest is like, he's one of those guys that has just ever so slowly over his whole career has just improved year after year. And it's only now we're all starting to, like when he had that main event with Bad Bunny at Backlash, everyone's just like, holy shit, Damian Priest is like one of the best guys, and he just kind of snuck under the radar for ages.
He did.
He like
for quite a long time.
He crept up. He just slowly crept up, and now he's finally like, whoa, this is insane. Because I remember when the Judgment Day first started, everyone was like, oh, he's the background character, easily, and now everyone's like, holy shit. Damian Priest's main event is a pay-per-view this year.
And it was awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think Seth's gonna win. I think he's gonna win the match.
I feel like because I think Raw this week had a really good promo package for like Finn that was really well done in harkening back to a moment in 2016 when he relinquished the belt, where when Seth comes down and Finn is walking away after he's already relinquished the Universal Championship, Seth is just laughing at him. because it harkens to now where Seth is constantly laughing, and
Yeah.
it really plays into like Finn's character now and his motivation for going after Seth in the championship and wanting to be that champion again. And I just wish that angle was for the whole 4 weeks or ever since Finn was going to get this title match, because then I would have thought maybe there is a chance where they do give it to Balor. Maybe there is a chance where they make him the champion and have him beat Seth. But there's still a part of me that thinks that maybe they could.
Technically,
with the idea that you suggested.
Even though technically the Republic of Ireland is not in the UK, he is technically in the vicinity of the UK. So there may be some support for him.
He's gonna be cheered as if like the local guy. Because compared to Seth Rollins. Who I feel like at the time when he was going up against AJ was the choice, and I think he was the right choice. It's just something that's missing from Seth right now in his character that isn't there, unfortunately. But I do think he is going to win this match. But I think there's a bit more chance than you probably suggested that there is a chance that Finn can win this match. But I do think Seth will win.
I actually have a bit of a hot take about Seth. I think there's always been something missing with his character, even at his best.
I would say that since like 2018, I think so.
Yeah.
I think his best years were when he was World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah. 2015 for sure. I mean, I also...
that's the Seth that we've really missed.
His time as Mr. Money in the Bank as well was really strong.
Oh yeah, he for me, he's the best Money in the Bank briefcase holder. I think there's just something about him and that briefcase that was so well linked together, and obviously along with his cash in, that really worked into his character. I
mean, in terms of the cash in itself, I'd agree, but in terms of as a briefcase holder, I can't not just see Edge in my head when someone says Money in the Bank. I think of the ultimate. I think of the ultimate opportunist.
No, yeah, absolutely. But then again, that can still be attributed to Seth as well.
Although
his character being the architect,
the thing with
the visionary.
The thing with Edge is that it's not just Money in the Bank. He would do it with everything. Yeah, he did it when he did it with the Elimination Chamber. That was insane. And with 2 Royal Rumble matches, he did big returns, and he did one where he won from number 1 as well. But like, he always found ways to make that part of his characters, especially from like 2005 onwards. Anyway,
I could see them giving this time, maybe not as long, because there's quite a lot of matches, and there's obviously 2 ladder matches on the show.
Yep.
So if they give them a good 15 minutes, this could be a really, really engaging match.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very hit and miss with Finn Balor WWE matches. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. I think when he's babyface, when he's a babyface, his matches get so repetitive and they're draining. They're like really, really predictable. But when they get him with the right opponent, it's white hot. Like, you remember when he had that match with Roman Reigns when he first came to the main roster? I watched that. The post-draft Raw.
I watched that live, and it was such a good match. That episode of Raw was so good in building Finn in just one night on the main roster.
That post-draft Raw in 2016 is one of the best Raws of all time. It was great. It was so well done. They put every egg in that basket. Anyway, I think Seth's going to win. The only way I can see Finn winning is if Priest is winning the briefcase, but I don't think that's going to happen. Spoiler. I'd say Priest is probably the third.
In 8 hours, if he does.
I think Priest is like the third most likely to win the briefcase, and I
think there's 3 people who will win. I think there's 3 people that I think will win.
Yeah,
and he is one of them for sure.
Yeah, but I don't think it is going to be him if I have to make a decision.
No.
Right. Now we go to the match that's going to be extremely entertaining.
Connor, do you know that this is going to be main eventing the show? They
Is
said
it
that on
actually?
SmackDown. This is main eventing the show, and that's going to be something. Oh my god, they're having Cody Rhodes and Dominic Mysterio main event the pay-per-view.
Well,
That's the main event in London.
I mean, maybe it's just in Cody's contract. He main events every pay-per-view.
No, the reason why I think they're going to do it is because in this match, Brock Lesnar's going to return. He's going to F5 Cody Rhodes, and Dominic Mysterio is going to pin Cody Rhodes to an audacious round of boos, and it's going to be so fucking good. Dominic Mysterio is going to win this match by any means necessary.
Yeah, I mean, look, if it was in any other spot than the main event, I would have said Cody's going to win. But now that you've said that, now that you said he's in the main event, that means there has to be an angle. Because remember Reigns versus Owens main event at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view over the Rumble matches because of the angle at the end. So
yeah.
If this is main event,
obviously plans might change because this is WWE. Plans might change, but they did say on SmackDown this was going to main event.
Are they actually going to fly? Are they going to fly Brock all the way to the UK just to have him F5 Cody once?
Absolutely. They are absolutely going to do that and have Dominic Mysterio win. I will be shocked if Cody wins this match.
Well, there you have it, folks. Little shit Dominic is going to win the main event of this pay-per-view.
I am just thinking about the boos that are going to rain. Either that, or because it's London and the London crowd, the England crowd is quite smart marks.
Well, let's
cheer him.
Let me remind you, especially, and I can back this up with the ticket sales for All In. England love AEW. They love AEW, and they will remember Cody Rhodes from AEW, who was the biggest heel of all time.
I think they are going to still cheer Cody. Because when I went to the watch party, the Wrestle Talk watch party for Night of Champions a month ago, we were very much pro Cody. We were singing a song, we were doing the woe, we were doing everything.
That's true. That's true. You know? That's true. But
I think he'll still be cheered. It's on whether Dominic will get cheered as well.
That's true.
That's what I'm thinking. He might get booed as well, but he might also get cheered, maybe.
Yeah, but you never know. You never know who's going to be in the crowd. I mean, it could be people that have seen the great stuff in WWE that Cody has actually been doing. But they also might remember when he slapped a stupid tattoo on his neck and got his ass kicked by Brody Lee. And then he made a ladder match that he didn't even win, all about him. And then he made his own version of Total Divas, and then he tried to solve racism with crying with Anthony Ogogo. Yep. They may remember that too, but, you know, AEW is a whole different universe for Cody. God, remember when Malachi Black debuted in AEW and he lost the feud to Cody? He lost!
Yep. Yep.
Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. He did it for his dad!
I did it for my dad. Do you hear what my dad is?
Remember when Cody went through a flaming table and they still booed him?
Yeah, boo!
Oh my god.
Boo.
Cody Rhodes in AEW was one of the funniest times ever. It was so entertaining.
Avoid.
Yep.
God, that last promo he did was fucking.
Oh my god! Oh my, the one that he did when he wasn't even contracted by AEW, like he was on a handshake deal. He came out.
Rejection is the most deadly color of all the pro wrestling. Avoid.
So what do you want to talk about?
Oh god.
I didn't turn heel because I love you all. Man, it's kind of weird how there's a guy going by the name Brody around here, a bit too soon.
Oh, gee, I remember that. Like, why?
God. And he's just like, CM Punk cut the pipe bomb, but he didn't do any of the things that he said he was going to do. I did that.
I did them. Oh, what a promo! What a promo!
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's why he's gonna lose this match.
Yeah, he's gonna lose this match because he was an idiot in AEW. I mean, he says in interviews that he was doing that because he was playing a heel character, but I don't think he's that self-aware. I think he just thought he was doing.
I think in the promos where don't you remember the Sammy Guevara promo where he was on the stage? He was like, "From one good guy to the next," and then he got booed. And then he hinted going down the heel tunnel, and then he went down.
Yeah.
Tunnel.
CM Punk did that.
Those were parts where, yeah, he did on like Collision, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he did that for the door. Sorry, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that was good.
Oh my God.
What time that was?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Cody in AEW, he was always over for sure. He was always over, and he was a big star. But it was so funny seeing him try to fight uphill. It was like he had the John Cena heat, except he let it get to him, whereas Cena didn't. That was the difference. Like, Cena was just like, okay, I don't care. You can cheer me, you boo me, I'm still gonna be here.
Or you can cheer me.
It doesn't matter because we're all one tonight in this building.
He does those promos a lot in the 2010s.
Yeah, whereas Cody was just like, why don't you like me? I love you.
Let me go through this table real quick.
It's like he had like an anxious attachment to being a babyface. And he's just like, I don't want to turn heel because I've got a baby boy at home and I need to be his superhero. And then he threw the belt into the crowd and they threw it back at him.
I remember, and they threw it back. That's such fucking. Oh, I see that in compilations.
What if they chant rubber chicken at him?
It's London, so they very much could. It's very possible.
But they also could be like, Dom is a wanker.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of wanker chants at Dom. I think there'll be a lot of like chants at Dom in this match. It's going to be a fun match just for the crowd. The crowd, because both of these guys are like, they're over and they get reactions. So I feel like this is the perfect match.
Yeah, but they're also...
I think this is a stroke of genius, really,
but they're also...
this match happen.
The funny thing is, both Cody Rhodes and Dominic Mysterio are over, and they're over in a way that is really funny sometimes as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because obviously Dominic...
I'm looking to this match a lot.
Yeah. Because, like, Dominic Mysterio is like a try-hard wannabe Eddie Guerrero, and he's getting topped by Rhea Ripley, which is just...
he's hard, but he's not. He's, like, the biggest pussy in the company.
Yeah. And then there's Cody Rhodes, who is just, like, a fucking wet, crying puppy dog every time he goes out there.
Quoting Cat in the Hat every week. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, I loved though in the build to WrestleMania when Paul Heyman was just bullying him every week.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad. I knew your dad. Roman was the son that he could never have. That's not true. That's impossible. Anyway, so yeah, I agree. Dominic's gonna win, and it's gonna be horrific.
Yeah, it's gonna be brilliant. I'm gonna absolutely love it.
Yeah.
What a way to, if this is actually gonna main event, that's gonna be crazy.
Dominic Mysterio beating Cody Rhodes in a main event. What a stupid idea.
But also kind of genius.
Well, technically, Dominic Mysterio debuted before Cody Rhodes in WWE, so he actually has the experience.
Yeah.
He has the experience on his side.
He's the veteran in this match.
because I'm pretty sure when they did the custody of Dominic ladder match in 2005, Cody Rhodes wasn't even in developmental yet, or maybe he was just getting into it.
Yeah, because he debuted in like 2007 or something.
Yeah, it was the Mania. It was after Mania 23. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the matches that are supposed to be the main event but aren't, because Dominic Mysterio has to win and win last and get his big payday. Oh dear. The women's Money in the Bank match. So there are actually some pretty viable options. And there are also some that aren't. I think, though, the way feuds are going, I think you could see some, because there's a lot of, with this match, there's actually a lot of interlocking feuds within the match, which actually is exciting, because when you've got like a stipulation multi-person match that has feuds that cross over with each other, that can create really good storytelling. They do this a lot in like the really good Royal Rumble matches, when you have feuds that are all in one match. So with this match, you have that. And like, for example, Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus are feuding, and Zoe Stark is also part of that feud. And then Bayley and Io Sky are both part of Damage Control, and they are in the match. And then also Zelina Vega is just in there and is not winning. Sorry, she's not winning. She's probably the least likely to win out of this group. I'll eat my words if she does. I think that I feel like, even though Becky Lynch is from Republic of Ireland, which isn't the UK but is local enough, even though she is somewhat hometown-ish, I don't think she's going to win, because I think there's too many ingredients going against her. Mainly Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark, but also Damage Control as well. And I think what they're going to do in this match is they're going to show that Becky Lynch would have won had it not been for literally every other person in the match trying to make her lose. And it will cancel her powers out, if you get what I mean. This may be a bit of a bold prediction, but I am going to go with Io Sky to win this match.
I'm also going with Io Sky.
All right. I think there is
my reasoning for it is because I think eventually they will do a feud between Io and Asuka in maybe a month or two's time.
Yeah.
For the championship. That's my reasoning. My other person I thought could win was Becky, because this is that sort of the last like accomplishment she hasn't done yet.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of everything else, she's main event Mania, she's won the Rumble, won 2 bouts at the same time. This is the one thing she hasn't won, but I agree that the Trish Stratus element is what's going to hold her back, because of how they want to do that match at SummerSlam.
However, here is my argument against that from a logical point of view. Becky Lynch is going to be a main event star for the rest of her career, no matter what happens. Whereas Io Sky, strike while the iron is hot right now. This is the chance to do it right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is the chance to really build a new star in Io Sky, because she had that really good match at Backlash, and it feels like now is the time to have a break from Damage Control and really come into her own as a wrestler and have some amazing matches with Asuka and, be champion, I would say, at some point. I feel like this is the time. This is the pick that I think makes the most sense to me.
Now, if Vince McMahon was booking this show, I could totally see him putting it on Trish Stratus.
Oh, absolutely. Which, like, in a way, I wouldn't totally mind, but in this match, it feels like it makes sense to put on Io. I feel like that's the real choice. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, well, I think it's the reason why I say that. Fun stuff with Trish if she was Miss Money in the Bank, but I don't think long term it really builds anybody up.
Yeah, well,
I would say, yeah.
The issue I have with it would kind of be like Boombox Brock all over again, but for the women.
And the issue with Boombox Brock was that he wasn't in the fucking match to begin with.
Well, that's even worse because he wasn't even in the match.
Yeah. I feel like there was fun stuff with Boombox Brock. Just hot take.
Well, after the match, yes.
It wasn't worth it though. It wasn't the right choice.
Yes, because Mustafa Ali was going to win that match.
Yeah. And
imagine if we'd gotten Mustafa Ali and Kofi Kingston. Ooh. After the fact that Ali was supposed to be in the chamber match and got kicked out of it, and Kofi replaced him.
What an idea that would have been.
Yeah. But instead, we got Retribution instead. We got T-Bar and Mace and Retaliation and Slapjack.
Slapjack, that's what it was.
And Reckoning. Reckoning. It was so bad that Retaliation didn't even last like 1 or 2 shows.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm out of here, and then spent another year in NXT, and then went to AEW, and now she's in Ring of Honor. Anyway. So, but I do, in terms of the storytelling, I think the women's one has a lot of potential.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because you got the elements of damage control with Bayley and Io, and you've got Becky up against Zoe Stark and Trish Stratus.
Yeah. And based on interviews I've seen, I think Zelina Vega is going to be the Spot Fest wrestler for this match.
Yeah, I actually watched her interview with Luke Owen. And it was like she seems like a really, really chill and fun person.
Oh, I imagine hanging out with her and Malachi Black is a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, they seem like a good people to be around.
Yeah, they're probably, I imagine their group of friends is quite the interesting bunch. Yes, come to my house and see my skulls.
Yeah, but yeah, I think this is gonna be a really fun ladder match.
Yeah,
hopefully Io doesn't fucking cash in on the same night.
Oh yes, please,
and
please.
Let a women's Money in the Bank winner hold it for more than a day, please, for once.
Yeah,
one person's done that, and it was the fucking first one, and that was 5 years ago.
Well, technically, James Ellsworth lost the briefcase a few days after winning it.
And James Ellsworth won the first Miss Money in the... Yeah, fucking... Oh, God.
Yep.
Looking back, that was fucking funny, but it was fucking stupid.
Yeah. And apparently James Ellsworth is a creep, so...
Yeah.
But, so I believe that Zelina Vega is going to be the designated Jeff Hardy for this match.
Pretty much.
Jeff Hardy / Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah.
Anyway. Then we move on to the last match on this list, which is not main eventing because Dominic Mysterio has to get his big payday.
It might open the show, honestly. This might open the show.
Maybe. It might. So...
I feel like this one makes sense to open.
So, Santos Escobar is not winning this match, as great as he is. Shinsuke Nakamura is not winning this match, as great as he is. Ricochet is not winning this match as great as he is, but I'm sure he'll do something fucking crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Cool, definitely.
Yeah. And Butch / Pete Dunne is what he should be called, the Bruiserweight, is great, but he's also not...
My little mini prediction is that Sheamus and Rich Holland are going to come out, and they're going to introduce him as Pete Dunne. I think...
in England? In England? Yeah, that'll be great.
It was like, this is the time to do it. This is the time to bring back.
But he's not winning. He's not winning.
Yeah. No.
It will be amazing, but he isn't. Pete Dunne is not winning the briefcase. He's not... He hasn't had the right build-up for it on the main roster.
He hasn't.
So there's only 3 people I could see winning this. I already pitched the Damian Priest thing because of if Finn Balor won the belt of Rollins. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think there's an outside chance of it. There's also a lot of people in the company pitching for Logan Paul to win the briefcase, which, as fun as Logan Paul is as a wrestler, and as much as he brings publicity to the company, I think that would be a silly idea. Especially because that would mean that if Logan Paul's winning the briefcase, are they actually going to have him lose the cash-in? That means that Logan Paul...
If he wins, he will beat Seth for the title. He will cash in on Seth.
Oh my god. Imagine if Vince McMahon overthrew creative, he had Logan Paul win and had him beat Roman.
Here's what I don't think if they had Logan win, I don't think it would be a silly idea, because I think the imagery of him having the briefcase on his podcast is really fun as an idea, and having him cash in on Seth, I think, would be the choice.
Well, I mean,
maybe after SummerSlam.
I mean, for publicity, I would agree. For like the actual exposure of the product, 100%. But
it also would fit the Logan character that they've been portraying for the last.
But I am not a businessman. I don't give a shit about that. I care about the art of professional wrestling, which is why not only the person who should win, but the person who I think is going to win is LA Knight. Yeah.
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 I have faith in Triple H. I have faith in Triple H that he will not fuck this up, and he will see how incredibly over this guy is, and how right now, this minute, this year, while he's still in his early 40s, now is the time to put that briefcase on him and make him a world champion within the next year. It is time for LA Knight. Do you agree?
He's also my prediction to win this, and he is the person that I want it to win the match the most, because I don't know if anybody has seen his promo from SmackDown last night. The man is over. He is very much over. He's very much a megastar. He's very much a great promo. It is what I would say is... It's what this match is for. It's to make a new star, whether it's a face or a heel. It's to build someone up for the next year, to prep them to be world champion, to put it into your mind that this person is going to be a world champion. And LA Knight winning, this feels like the perfect time to establish him as the next main eventer in the company for the next 3 years. He's older than a lot of wrestlers, sure, but you can be the top guy for 2 to 3 years, and that's absolutely fine.
I mean, so was AJ Styles when he came into WWE,
exactly.
They immediately strapped the rocket to him.
Exactly. It's the same thing here. I think it is the best choice, and it's the choice that I want the most, because the 3 people that I think could win this match is Damien Priest, Logan Paul, and LA Knight. And I can see arguments and good things to come from if either Priest or Logan won this match. But I think the right choice and the best choice is LA Knight, because he is just organically has built himself up from his promo and his charisma and his pretty good wrestling.
The crowd reactions, are undeniable. He's one of the most over wrestlers in the world.
If you go back and watch his his entrance at Royal Rumble at the beginning of the year, wasn't getting that cheered that much. Like, couple people here and there, and he was like popular-ish. But compare that to now, he is the most over babyface. In terms of how people see him, he is the most over person in the company, bar none.
Yeah, well, I mean,
he should really win this match.
I think it's Sami Zayn was more over than him earlier this year, but that storyline has ended. So
it very much has ended, yeah.
Yeah. And the Sami Zayn thing, they got there through telling a great story. LA Knight is just, you can't even describe it. He just goes out there and does his thing, and he just organically is over with no effort. He knows
how to talk. He knows how to.
It's that
crowd.
kind of effortless attitude era charisma, where you don't really have to do that much, and the crowd is on their feet like going crazy. Because he just has star power. He just is organically over, and you can't really put your finger on what that thing about him is, but he has it. I mean, the thing is, the thing is, though, I think the reason why he wasn't getting that much reactions earlier in the year is because he was in a feud with Bray Wyatt. And that was probably not showcasing him as an individual, because the feud was all about Bray Wyatt, and LA Knight was just there to be his opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, he hasn't done that much since either, but for some reason the crowd still sees through the cracks.
Yeah, because of him, because of his charisma.
Yeah, and like, surely they see that it's just undeniable at this point. Like, you have to, you just have to put the briefcase on him. It's just silly not to. And I have heard
a good Money in the Bank holder since Seth Rollins. Like, legitimately, we haven't had a good one since him.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
because all the other ones have failed miserably.
I mean, Ambrose was okay but it was only one day.
The reign wasn't that good.
Oh yeah, the title reign, no. But in terms of the briefcase, it was an interesting moment. Yeah.
But this feels like this is the real chance to strap a rocket to someone and really tell people this is the guy for the next 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I understand why some people in the company are pitching for Logan Paul to win it, but I think LA Knight is the right choice. He is... Like, Logan Paul is an attraction, but in terms of, like, someone who can actually be a star week after week on your roster, and everyone in the crowd is, like, drawn to their promos, wants to see their matches, cares whether he wins or loses. That's what you need. And I think LA Knight is that guy. You know, some people out there are like, oh, Cody didn't beat Roman, so he'll beat Seth. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the right thing to do is for Cody to wait another year and face Roman again, and to have LA Knight as the Raw champ, as like the big gold belt winner. Because I don't think LA Knight will beat Roman Reigns. In fact, I don't think anyone in this match would cash in and win on Roman Reigns. But I think introducing the World Heavyweight Championship again has allowed this briefcase winner to have some chance.
Yeah.
And they need to make up for the fact that the last man's briefcase winner was arguably the worst ever, and that was Austin Theory, who not only cashed in on the US title, but he lost the match.
Yeah, and then won it like a week later or so.
Absolutely pointless. Absolutely pointless. And look at him now. He beat John Cena clean at WrestleMania, and he's cold as fucking turkey. No one gives a shit about him. How does that happen?
His reign has gone to absolute shit.
Yeah, it's funny because they've booked him strong, but no one gives a shit. They've booked LA Knight like garbage, and everyone wants him to win. It's like reverse psychology.
Yeah.
But if you actually take away the booking and you look at them as talent, you look at Austin Theory and you look at LA Knight, and you can just tell that LA Knight is experienced, he's charismatic, he's confident, and people believe him when he cuts promos. Austin Theory, he's young and he's got a lot of time to develop that, but at this current stage, he doesn't have that believability. Everything about him feels so phony and forced. And maybe one day he'll become a big star, but he's still in that phase where he's just not there. But LA Knight is there right now. And if you wait any longer, he won't be in that phase anymore. Like his window for the peak of his career is at the tail end right now, and it's time to put the fucking briefcase on LA Knight. Oh yes. I'm wearing the LPW merch shirt, the Regan Squeeze shirt right now, and Regan is in the chat saying nice shirt, Connor. So yes, I'm repping the Regan Squeeze. But yes, Yeah, I think this pay-per-view has a lot of potential.
I think it's gonna be a very fun show if
Yeah.
the right people win.
I personally think that. I'll leave that for another video. I'm just pissed off at how WWE books like their undercard stuff is so frustrating because the attention to detail is piss. But there is also a lot of great stuff going on. So I think the crowd will elevate the pay-per-view a lot because it's in England.
I agree. Yeah.
So yeah, I think
it's gonna be hot for this.
So I believe we have the same prediction for every match.
We do.
So that means the tiebreaker will be the one that we're going to be looking for as to see who wins the predictions is who gets pinned in the Bloodline match. Is it Roman Reigns or is it Solo Sikoa? If it's Solo Sikoa, I win the predictions. If it's Roman Reigns, you win the predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting because logically, if you're looking at the past, you're looking at the past few years from like a robot point of view, it would obviously predict Solo Sikoa will be the one to get pinned. But looking at it from a narrative point of view, you could argue that Reigns being pinned would mean more for the story. So I think mathematically I have a better chance of winning, but I also think there is actually believable reasons as to why you could win as well.
Yeah. It's going to be real awkward if the Bloodline win, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if Solo Sikoa pins Jey Uso, that would be really disappointing.
Oh, yeah. I guess would that be the other tiebreaker then?
I don't know. I feel like we just both lose in that scenario.
Yeah, I guess we both lose.
I mean, hopefully they just randomly add another match and we'll flip a coin.
Yeah.
We could do that. Yeah, they book. I don't know. They book fucking. I don't even know who. Just someone random. They book fucking, I don't know, Jinder Mahal versus fucking, I don't know, Grayson Waller. I mean, he's got a broken leg, so he can't wrestle.
No.
Fucking Ron Breaker versus Veer. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Flip a coin and hopefully you don't land on Veer.
Veer is coming.
Veer is coming. So yeah, this is the predictions. I'll hopefully at some point, if I can get around to it, I'll upload an edited version of this on the new channel. I'll probably put a link to the new channel at some point in the description after I've ended the stream. We'll come back on the new GOA Wrestling channel with a review of this show, I think. And then that will hopefully springboard us into some new content. We have some ideas. We have potential ideas revolving around the new AEW Fight Forever game that's just come out. We also have ideas for potentially WWE 2K23. And I've got some other stuff in the works. I've got, like, the as you'd expect rankings, lists, discussions, blah, 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 all sorts of stuff that I have ideas for potentially. There's one that I've been currently working on. I've been downloading a lot of footage and images for because it's quite a big video to make. But yes, this is it's an interesting new branch of content to make. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to make stuff for the normal channel because I will be. Don't you worry. I will be dividing my attention across both channels and all the different things going on, like Doctor Who, Game of Thrones, Pink Floyd, all sorts of stuff at some point. But it's going to take time to do all of this stuff. So, but regardless, lots of things to look forward to, I think, hopefully. Yeah. Any last words before you have to head out to actually go see this show that you've just done predictions for?
Yeah, to go and watch it in a packed pub. Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the show. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I hope it. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this show, and I think it should be a lot of fun. And hopefully, the right people win.
Yes, I will probably be asleep when the show is on. So if there is a match that's randomly added, then you flip a coin to see which one is going to be your pick.
Who's this? And you
and I get the
other.
other person, and whoever wins is the tiebreaker.
That's how we decide.
That is the tiebreaker only if the bloodline win. Only if the bloodline win. If the Usos win, that match doesn't matter. So it's like the tiebreaker after the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
They probably won't do that.
There probably will be one pre-show. There has to be. They always do a pre-show match. So there might be one just randomly that happens. So I will flip a coin. I'll be ready to flip a coin.
Fucking the New Day versus the Miz and... Oh, wait, no, isn't one of the New Day injured?
Well, Big E's injured and Kofi Kingston is injured, so...
Yeah, okay.
It's just Woods. He's not around, really, ever since he lost to Gunther.
Xavier Woods versus Ludwig Kaiser.
Why not?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it should be a fun show. I'm hyped.
Yep. And are you hyped for this channel?
I am. Should be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of good discussions and stuff. And
oh yeah, we have barely scratched the fucking surface of this. Like, I have so many opinions about this topic to share on everything. I have so many opinions, like thousands, and like a whole bible of opinions that I've built up over the last fucking 14 years of my life to share about wrestling, because it's very silly, but also it's a very unique form of art that is unlike anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great to hear, Regan. You're looking forward to the new channel? Because so am I. So, I hope you all enjoyed this stream, and those of you who are interested, hope you will enjoy the new channel when it comes around. Enjoy the show, everyone.
Enjoy the show. Bye. Woo!
Money in the bank. Shorty is a tank. Got money in the bank. Shorty is a tank.